Hey guys, welcome to another video on our Protect New Horizons series. And unfortunately, not much has really happened this week. Just some upgrades and shuffling around of stuff like this room here. I've been mainly just waiting for Neutronium to cook up since we needed it for some crafts and we still need it lots. So yeah, yesterday I also didn't really play. Yeah, I was basically letting the Neutronium cook up. So that's mainly where we at right now. So very few new things this week. And yeah, also I wanted to say that I think I said this in some previous videos, but I guess that information is already outdated. But yeah, for a few months now, I mainly record on Fridays, like today, or I actually record 2 times per week. Actually, I record on Fridays or Thursdays, like today, and I record on Sundays or Mondays. So yeah, there are times when I record on Friday and also again on Sunday. So yeah, it also depends how much I actually do in between. But let's start with the actual source of this episode, which unfortunately isn't that much. Yeah, I built our first co-hull, the component assembly line, and this is the only line I actually built this time around. So no mega wood, no mega plot, um, nothing of that. But yeah, this setup is the lazy setup using the dual input buffers, so they work pretty well with this. And for this one, unfortunately, I needed more interface space, so I'm just using the boring large grid buffers with the conduits into of course, a dual input buffer. And again, I plan to have like 4 of these. I left space for 4, so the other one will be here, obviously, and the other 2 will be on top, sharing the edges. So yeah, this is basically the most expensive part of this thing, the casings. These ones are very expensive. I checked out the materials for the UHV one. I should have it here. Yes, I do. We require 43. And well, most of these are buffer issues, but then we need this stuff, which I guess I didn't really make patterns for. But we should probably have enough. But the main thing here is the neutronium, and also the cosmic neutronium. I mean, but also the neutronium. I'm pretty sure this will use a lot, 2 million buckets. So yeah, basically it will use our 90k ingots and require another 80k, which yeah, that's a lot. So that's why I went for the UV ones. But whenever we get more neutronium, we'll be upgrading this to UHV, of course. And for now, I'm just using 64 amp UHV. It's not really that fast, but I guess it's fast enough for now. So yeah, that's that. For that, I also moved our oil. We ran out of oil in our other pump, and I just place it here. It's not the greatest. Yeah, it's 240 to 397. It's not really that great, but I guess it does the job. We don't really use that much uh, this anymore. I mean, the most we are using is actually for the pumps, because we don't really have any regular miners anymore. We use void miners for everything, using the P2P for energy, so we don't really use that for the miners anymore. Also added another extreme tech changer. This has a slower throughput. This is mainly just to complement this one, since this is not enough by itself to run these turbines at max speed. So yeah, by adding the other extreme heat exchanger, we basically doubled the power from this turbine set. So before this was at 21 million, I think. So now it's a 40 million, and of course this is for the each of the turbines. So this one is 40 as well. This one is half of the others amount. So yeah, we are now getting more than one UMV amp, which is pretty good. I also added a few more UV capacitors, so we can have more storage. I actually forgot to up our buffer here, so let's do that. Let's not do that, let's do this instead. Need this for as well. So yeah, that's that. On this side, not really much change. I upgraded some of the tanks because the buffers were full on some of them. Same here. Oh, I upgraded our hydrogen production, so this is now going bonkers. I upgraded our 4 gas symphons from IV to UV, so they got a lot faster, and that's nice. But yeah, on this side it's not really much has happened. Okay, on our plot line, I guess we processed all of our palladium, and the platinum was already processed as well. So yeah, we got this done finally. A bit of a pain, but we ended up doing it. I guess I can go to here now. But yeah, I shuffled all of the machines that were here before. After removing the platform, of course, the platform is now there. But yeah, first for our scheelite line, we processed all of our scheelite, so we had 5 million scheelite dust. So this is now all processed, as you guys can see. I upgraded all of the machines here. Most if not all of the machines here are LUV now. So most of them got a pretty large speed increase. Our EBFs are now Vulcanus, so they are even faster. I moved the autoclave from there to here since it made more sense. Before we had 2 Vulcanus for neutronium, so now we have 8. So these are now much faster. Because of our ammonia dilemma, we were running out of nitrogen, so I added these turbines. These are all ZPM turbines, centrifuges I mean. And I think I also added, I'm pretty sure I added a pump for nitrogen, but I guess it's stopped working maybe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I added a pump specifically for hydrogen, but it wasn't really a good pump. It's one of those pumps that only really makes more sense when you have the infinite pump. Besides that, I don't think it's really that useful. But yeah, on this side we have basically the stuff for the tier 2, 1, 2 and 3 waters. So now in here we have the tier 1 with the activated carbon dust. Which actually... What is happening here? This is not... This should be starting, right? Okay, I'll need to check this after, but yeah, this buffer is not full, so this should be working. Also the ozone, before we had another laser engraver, but now this one is ZPM, so it can produce enough for the ozonation plant down there. And finally, the stuff that was here for the tier 3 water, which was actually kind of a major bottleneck. It's now on this side. This uses LUV4 amps. Before this was using IV 6, no, It was, yeah, IV4. I'm pretty sure this was IV4. So it wasn't really able to keep up, or I don't remember, but it wasn't really able to keep up with the polyaluminum chloride for the water. So we did a bunch of upgrades, and this is now more than capable of producing enough polyaluminum chloride for the water. And yeah, it was mostly just moving stuff and upgrading stuff. Nothing really that exciting happened, I guess. Just moving up stuff. Uh, Down under. I upgraded also for the cosmic neutronium. I guess I should have been doing this before, but I did it a few hours ago, so that's going. In here, I actually need to upgrade these turbines, or at least to add another set. These centrifuges, I mean. We have a bunch of stuff piled up. I should probably start to avoid the stone combs because I, yeah, most of this stuff we don't really need or care that much for. But these ones are not even the issue. The infinity combs just they are ZPM. It take a long time. So that's something we can optimize a little bit, I guess. And this stuff is pretty clean. There's not really a processing issue there. And for our processing, I've been doing a few upgrades. As you guys could see, there's still a few spillage every now and then when when the macerators get too much different stuff. So this is something that I really need to look into. I'll probably do this today or tomorrow. But yeah, basically I've been upgrading some of these machines to have a different system to draw items. Basically to use the same as I do here with the drives. So the way they work is, and also having the drives on top of the wireless connector is a little bit. It doesn't really look good, I guess, but it's not really a big issue. It's just visual stuff. Anyway, yeah, I've been using the setup with the drives, and then I have advanced stocking input bus with the auto pull. And what I've done is most of these have the stock slot refresh time to a very low value, and the logic here is basically so that they can check if there are new items faster, because what was actually happening here in the B area in this mega chemical reactor, right? So yeah, when the bees run, we have a very large amount of different combs. So they were not really getting processed, all of them. Some of them would not be processed because this was so high, this value here was so high, that basically when this tried to check for the new items, for new types of combs to process, we already have gotten even more combs. So there were some that were never even got the chance to be processed. So basically I changed this value to be way lower. So this was 100, now it's 5. So instead of being every 5 seconds is every a quarter second. Yeah, now this has time to check all the comms, and that was actually the main issue. I completely forgot that this stuff here existed. And that was the main issue for me not changing our ore processing sooner. So yeah, that's probably one of the next things I'm going to finish doing, uh, especially on the macerators and on the centrifuges. I guess the thermal centrifuges also should be upgraded with that, but I'll eventually do all of them, because doing it this way we can prevent spillage, which is kind of annoying. And if for some reason we get a big income of some kind of resource, like I've been processing some of our palladium comms, and since they use the thermocentrifuge, they yeah, uh, they start to get start to spill since we are inputting many items into these buses at the same time. So yeah, that's one of the reasons to upgrade this. I'm probably going to do that in the next today or tomorrow also as well. Also, one thing that I completely forgot to mention is the new rooms. As you guys might see, I haven't really finished any of this. I actually kind of built this in a hurry because I really wanted to get this going. I really wanted to craft more UV parts, but they require a lot of neutronium, so I kind of rushed to build this so that we could save on the neutronium. So that yeah, that's why I haven't really done anything here. So yeah, and the same for these ones. These ones I'm just being kind of lazy to finish, but I could finish them already since we are not really going to add anything here. But yeah, and for next week, the plan for next week is to build the nanoresins line. Uh, as I've said previously, it will be probably around here. Don't really know how big it will need to be. I don't think it will need to be that big if we want. Because just a quick, I guess I can explain this a little bit about the nanoresins. I'll try to be a little bit quick, but it's a bit confusing. I'll say that right now because we need to craft this extracting nanoresin, and I guess we just need to do this once, or at least until we get a okay amount of this, I guess. Because yeah, the extracting then turns into the field. We also get some kind of chlorinated stuff depending on our input, I guess. But yeah, we take the extracting nanoresin, we get the field extracting nanoresin, and this gets electrolyzed for the actual lanthanide we are trying to get. Some chlorine that this is also used to the other stuff, and we get our extracting nanoresin back. So this loops, and the other stuff, the chloride concentrate, we get from the digester. And this is basically the same for every lanthanide that we want to process. One of the ones we'll be needing most is probably the ohmium one, since this is used for circuits, and it's kind of slow doing it through the Besnasite line. So basically we get a good amount of the extracting nanoresin, and we just process the well, that's a good question because I'm not really sure if we can process this even. But yeah, as you guys can see, there are other options we can also do. And yeah, those ones basically cycle from the concentrate to the enriched. And yeah, this is the part that's confusing me the most. But I guess I'll need to check um, how this all goes. Because yeah, the recipe is loop, and I don't think there's any flowchart for it. But yeah, the thing is, like I've said, I'm not really sure if I'm going to do a setup for each of them. I don't think we need a setup for each of them, but or if this will be some kind of on-demand process. That's the only questions I have in my mind right now. I could do one for each, but there are like 15 of them, so I'm not really sure even it will be if it will be worth to have all 15 of them done. Since that will take a lot of space, and most of the machines in this process, I think they are pretty fast. So let me just check, just in case. This one is 10 seconds, but this is the one that we can reuse. This is a 1 second recipe, but it's UV, so it will be kind of hard to overclock this if I want. The digester is also pretty fast, with which normally doesn't really happen. The digester usually is pretty slow, so that's good. Uh, this one is probably the most annoying one because it's CPM and it's 5 seconds. That's a long ass time. and this one is UV, but it's also pretty fast. So yeah, I'll need to check if it's worth to do this 15 times. I don't think so. I'll probably just do the ones we use the most, and that's it. And after that, it will probably be Kevlar and also the Nano Forge. I'll probably just tear this all down. I don't think we need this anymore, and just build the Nano Forge here. It's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I don't really want to build another forge on this side. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for today. Uh, I guess this ended up being a pretty long video, considering I didn't really do anything or show much of anything. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.